happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're keeping well. It's a big special video this involving big Spurs YouTubers, content creators, journalists, reporters, fans, you name it. It's a big one, and I put 3 questions to them about Spurs during this international break. Number 1, what positions they think we should upgrade on in the summer, because I think this is a massive summer transfer window for Tottenham. Number 2, who their realistic dream summer signing is, obviously within reason. And question number 3, the big one, Ange in or out, and why? Those are the 3 questions. Enough of me waffling. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, please do smash the like button. If you're new, smash the subscribe button. Hopefully, you can relate to some of the people. What they say today is going to be different opinions, but that's the beauty of it and why I do videos like this. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you to everyone who sent in these videos. Hope you all enjoy.
Yo people, what's good? It's Tobes here, and I'm here to answer a couple of questions asked to me, or posed to me, sorry, by Harry. Big up Harry every time. So first question, which positions do Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? So for me, this one is easy. It's a no-brainer. We need juice in the attack, we need juice in the midfield, we need juice in the defense. But specifically, we need most definitely a new right winger. We need a right winger badly. Yeah, we got young G's like Odegaard and Mikey Moore coming through the ranks. We got Son, who is obviously his best days are past him, but he's still there chilling, waiting in the wings. But after that, it gets spooky. It gets real spooky. Tell obviously is now a player permanently, and you don't know what I think on Brennan Johnson. Not good enough. So we need a certified right winger to come into this team and play a consistent amount of minutes. And that probably leads me to the second question that Harry posed, which is what would be a realistic dream signing in the summer and why? Mbeumo would be one of several options. Again, me personally, I'm not trying to be wedded to names this summer. I'm all about profiles. Can you dribble, cut inside, create chances, create separation from your fullback and score goals? If you can do those things, you start on the right wing for Spurs, because we have one winger who is incapable of doing 3 out of 4 of those things. But yeah, so that's one. Right wing, definitely need that. Left sided defender for me is a must. Van der Ven is too injury prone, and we need competition for Van der Ven. We need, not even competition, we just need someone to step in. That's actually good and dynamic and can get us playing further up the pitch. And we also need someone who can do the same for Destiny, who's also picked up big injuries for us, and his form has been terrible this season, terrible. So we need a left-sided defender that can come in and can give both those 2 players a kick up the backside and can compete for their spots. Yeah. For me, the third position is the base of the midfield. It's the base of the midfield. I would sell Bentancur and Basuma if I had my way this summer. I think Spurs need like 2 in there. We need midfielders who aren't scared to take the ball in dangerous areas, who have the personality and quality to play it through the lines, to play with directness, to play with speed, and also have the positional awareness to be in the right place at the right time to break up play, and also have the physical qualities to actually win duels, to track runs. Like, we need a proper midfielder to come into the base of that midfield, to play alongside Archie Gray, or instead of Archie Gray, to play alongside Bergvall, etc., etc. So those are 3 critical positions for me this summer. And then, of course, there's the nice-to-haves. Someone rotating with Solanke, another attacker coming in the wing, another midfielder. Like, those are bonuses. Maybe another centre-back. But listen, the 3 I mentioned, they're critical. So I've already given you my number 2 in terms of a dream realistic signing. I think that's realistic because we've got the money, and we've got the money to go out and get a player like Mbeumo. So go do it. Number 3, and I don't say that Mbeumo is my only dream signing. There are other dream signings there. I think Adam Wharton would be a fantastic signing for Tottenham. He possesses really good passing quality as well. But Spurs have the capital to go and get these type of players. Whether we will do it is a different question altogether. Ange in or Ange out? I'm Ange out. We have a manager in Ange who picks the wrong team consistently, takes too long to make changes, no players playing well, loses way too many matches, just leaves our defence open, leaves our midfield dysfunctional, leaves our striker, our £65 million striker, starved the service, puts way too much emphasis on poor wingers in each system, it's just not good. It's just not good. He's not had it all his way. He's had injuries. He didn't have the best summer window. In fact, he didn't have a good summer window at all. But he's got more than enough at his disposal to put in better performances or get us putting in better performances than we have done. And the form has just been too much, man. The Chelsea game when we lost 4-3, that was the final straw for me. And I tried to sympathise. I did. I tried to put it on Levy as well, and he's culpable. But Ange is performing so bad that we can't just stick it all on the chairman. We have to also look at how bad a job he's doing. So it's time to go. Off you pop.
Yes, Scarface, your boy Ashmatic. Thanks for having me on. Let's get straight to it. What do I think Spurs need to prioritise in the summer? I think we need a centre-back, left-sided. I think we need a right-back more than a left-back, only because I think Jed plays better on the left-back role. I think Sonny replacement is needed because I think Odeberg can fill in on the right, so he gives competition to Johnson. And then I think we need a DM. I think that's the most important role. What would be my dream position for that role, dream player? I think Angelo Stiller. I think we could get him if we coughed up the money. If we coughed up the money, and everyone's saying that we're going to be breaking our transfer record fee this summer, then I would spend that money on the 6. And I like him because he dictates play with and without the ball. So his positioning is elite, in my opinion. And I think that's what we're missing in terms of a number 6, when to slow it down, when to speed it up, and to find the pass, you know, to find players, find your forward players quickly, and then sometimes under pressure, take it off the centre-backs, and then just pass through the lines that way as well. Defensively good as well, and quick on the half turn, so he's able to transition really fast under pressure. Ange in or Ange out? Ange out, because I think what it is with Ange, and I'm not sure if I've heard many people speak about this, but Ange is the type of manager, when Ange Ball's working, suits playing against the bigger teams. So your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Newcastles, basically teams that like to come at you, yeah? His teams, the way they set up, are really strong and aggressive against those type of teams. When they come against the mid teams to lower teams, that's when he finds himself in a bit of a trouble. And in the Premier League, you need to do well against teams that you're fighting against, that are in and around you. That's the biggest problem Ange has. And I think that's why a lot of the fan base was confused with him, actually, in the beginning, because they were like, oh, look what we did to Man City. Look what we did to Aston Villa. Do you know what I mean? Because those teams would try to play football. And when the teams tried to play football, we're very chaotic, and we take a lot of risks. And sometimes when those risks pay off, it looks really good. But when teams come with different tactics and he's not able to change it, he said it, or Jed said it in the last interview, I want to keep the players playing the same way. He doesn't want them to change. That's when teams can easily prepare for you. And they say, okay, he's going to do this. He's going to play out from the back. He's going to go short of the goalkeeper. So they're going to know how to press us, etc., etc. So yeah, Ange out. And the problem is, who can we get in? And that's why the board, I think, are sticking with Ange at the moment, because they know the reputation isn't really good at the moment. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Peace.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. My name is Wilsey, best known for doing donuts on social media. And Harry has politely asked me to be involved in this video once again, so big up to him. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, turn on the notification bell, like the video, comment down below all your thoughts, this and that and everything. And he's politely asked me 3 questions, which I'll answer very promptly. The first one being, what positions do Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? Now, if I'm honest, our striker position isn't looking too great at the minute. I know we just signed Solanke last summer for 60 million, but he hasn't been looking up to his billing. in my opinion. And I think we need to look in the market for a new complete striker that can just score in any position, tap in outside of the box, etc., etc. So that's one of the positions, and I also think we need to bring in backup fullbacks or fullbacks that can compete with the ones that we currently have. As we progress into the game, 60 minutes in, etc. Legs get tired, and I think we need a fresh pair of legs that can be brought onto the pitch and change the dynamic of the game. Whether that be I don't really watch football quite a lot, so I can't give you exact names, but just someone that can run with pace up and down whether it being on the left or the right of the pitch. So that's what I think needs to be done in the summer. The second question is, who would be your realistic dream signing in the summer and why? Last summer, before we signed Solanke, I was craving for Victor Gyökeres, but I just know that isn't going to happen because, one, he's very sought for. He's probably one of the most anticipated strikers in the world of football right now. And I don't think he'd want to join Spurs, and he'd probably get an offer from a much bigger club, if I'm being honest. But if there was one player that I'd really want, it would be Victor Gyökeres. And then the last question is Ange in or Ange out, and why? So, ever since the last video, I said Ange needs to win us a trophy. But now I'm very stern on the fact that if he doesn't win us the trophy, if he doesn't win us this Europa League, I think he should be sacked, and rightfully so, because in all my years of watching Spurs, to be fair, I've only been watching since 2020, but since I've been watching Spurs, I've never seen us in such a low position in the league, and I don't think he's got the best out of his players. I know we've had a lot of injuries, but even under Conte, we had a lot of injuries. We was even missing Harry Kane at one point, and we still managed to finish fourth. So I just think a change of manager, a change of tactics might move the club in the right direction. But for now, in fact, big up to Harry for inviting me on the video. Please like and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of the other opinions and comments the other YouTubers have to say. And for now, take care, guys, and I'll see you very soon.
What's happening? Heartman here, doing what we do, talking all things Tottenham. So, the questions I've been asked. Where do Tottenham need to strengthen over the summer? It's a tricky question to answer because there's a lot of players that I feel haven't yet been integrated into the squad. We've got some young players that have been out on loan that are coming back. Do we want to block their path into the squad? And where's the priority? Now, a lot of people may think centre half. I think if Romero goes, we may have to look at there and that area. Me, I think centre midfield. I think it's been an area where I don't think we've got the right setup there. I don't think we've got the right clientele in there, and I feel that needs to be addressed. I feel the centre midfield area, Archie Gray going into the 6, who's going to play in front of him, what's the options? I feel that that's the area I would look to strengthen most. That would be the area I'd look to strengthen most. Next question. Who would be my realistic signing to strengthen this squad? Realistically, okay. Maybe a bit of a wild card. Someone like Morgan Gibbs-White over there at Nottingham Forest, doing a lot of positive work over there. Someone who is a game changer, who is not afraid to take a shot, works the ball well, and I believe in our midfield we need that kind of player in there. So I take a punt at Morgan Gibbs-White. That's what I take. May not be everyone's cup of tea, but that's just for me. Am I Ange in or Ange out? Anyone who's heard me speak on any podcast, normally on the last word of Spurs, you know that I'm very much in the camp of right now, I'm Ange in, because one, I can't see another option. Present me something and I'll talk about it. But right now, he's the best we have. And I feel that he's someone who wants to be there. And I feel that with the changes that need to happen above him, he needs more support. And as a fan base, I feel that if we gave him a bit more time, there may be something there. Now we have a nucleus of a squad that could work. We've got players that have never once checked out on him. They've never once stopped playing for him. That says a lot about him. So right now, Heartman is Ange in. Team, it's a pleasure. Big man, it's a pleasure. Heartman, signing out.
Hey Harry, Jack here. Going to give you my responses to some of the questions you asked me. Positions I think we need strengthening this summer. I'd be going for a left back to compete with Destiny Udogie. We just need a fullback of some kind. You know, whether you think Jet Spence is better on the left, don't really care. We just need someone that can compete there on the left. I think we should also be going for another midfielder, particularly in the deeper lying areas, someone who can compete with Bentancur, someone who can replace Basuma. I think Basuma is probably headed out the door this summer. At least I think he should be headed out the door. I think he's had plenty of chances to prove himself at Spurs and has, you know, had good games, you know, and good spells. But I think we can tell that this is just not a guy that's very motivated to, you know, push himself to his best ability, or just, you know, from, you know, the fact that he's on the balloons in the beginning of the season really just suggests to me that this guy doesn't have his priorities straight. I'd also look to be adding a lot of depth and quality in terms of the forward line. I think Sonny could potentially be headed out the door, or at least Spurs, you know, they didn't give him a bumper new contract. They only extended it by a year, which suggests that they're kind of looking towards the end of Sonny, or they might even be looking to sell him. You know, very scary thought, but we definitely need to sign someone that can really take over from him, you know, someone who's a proven quality, who can take over from that goal output as well as assist output that he provides. Also as well, I think we need to sign someone that can compete with Brennan Johnson over on the right. Odegaard, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him, but, you know, he's very young, very raw, and so we definitely need someone, again, of real proven quality that can fill in on the right, in my opinion. And then that probably some other positions as well. But, you know, also maybe striker too, someone that can replace Richarlison. I think Richarlison should head out the door this summer. Someone that can provide competition for Solanke, because that's what you need, is two guys that are competing for the same spot in a really important position like that, like striker. Also as well, with how much Ange, you know, asks of his players in the front line to lead from the front in terms of the defensive output with the press, the high press. I think you need someone that can, you know, relieve Solanke and also compete with him and be someone that has that sort of, you know, stamina to be able to do that. And then in terms of like ideal signings, of course, plenty of people might shoot me down, you know, with a lot of these because they might say unrealistic. I think we need to go again for someone that can, you know, compete with Brennan Johnson on the right, you know, have, you know, something different to offer, someone who's also just a whole lot more creative than him, someone who works a lot harder than him. I'd go for someone like Semenyo, even though I've heard he might be an Arsenal fan, which I don't know what that makes me think about that, but, you know, it's just the first name that comes to mind with a guy that I've been really liking. Two-footed, strong, good crosser of the ball, good scorer as well. I just think he has a lot of attributes that I really like in his game. Bryan Mbeumo over at Brentford as well, I just think is a great player that I think could really, you know, add some proven quality and experience, you know, to that team that might be necessary. Someone who's on the younger side of things, I do like the Borussia Dortmund player, Gittins. I think he has a lot of talent as well, but I think he's still in kind of that raw category, a bit like sort of Wilson Odegaard for me. So I'd go for Bryan Mbeumo or Semenyo in terms of the front line. In terms of striker, I'd probably get someone like Liam Delap, you know, to compete with Solanke, just because he's probably going to be on the market if Ipswich Town do in fact go down and get relegated. So if Spurs can put in a decent enough bid, I think he would be really good competition up front. And I've liked a lot what I've seen from him. In terms of the midfield, I'd bring in someone like Ederson from Atalanta. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I think that guy is a real proven quality, you know, in the deeper lying areas of midfield. Really like a lot about his game, and I think he'd be really good competition for Bentancur, be an excellent replacement for Basuma, and so I really like what Ederson has to offer. Maybe even frees up Bentancur to play more as a number 8, like a goal-scoring, box-to-box type of midfielder to compete with someone like Pop Matasar, and then you can have like a combination of Ederson and Archie Gray. And then in terms of a fullback position, again, someone that just comes to mind, someone that's very familiar to a lot of Spurs fans. I actually really like Ryan Ait-Nouri. I think the guy is a very, very skillful player when going forward. Sometimes I have some question marks about him defensively. I'd probably say that about the entire Wolves team in general, so I'm not too sure if that's always Ryan Ait-Nouri's fault, but I think the guy is really, really good at getting forward. And in particular, if Ange continues to ask his fullbacks to sort of play that inverted role, I think he's actually one of the best out there, in my opinion, in general, Ryan Ait-Nouri. So I really like him. And another potential kind of, you know, guy that might be probably headed out the door and we can maybe get a good price on. And then in terms of Ange in, Ange out, I'm giving him till the rest of the season. I want him to see what he can do in the Europa League. If he can get us to a final or win the Europa League, I'd absolutely give him, you know, more time and, you know, probably really not be that worried about his future. But if he gets knocked out early, particularly against Frankfurt, I think he has to go. I think it's just been such a dramatic failure of a season, regardless of the injuries and whatnot. Even with injuries, I don't think anybody expected us to be out of all the cup competitions. this early, but then also, being 13th or 14th, and be playing worse than even Man United have been, who in my opinion have a worse squad than us and are in fact kind of looking better than us, and I don't think they're very good at all. So I think if Ange gets knocked out by Frankfurt, I think he's got to go. And also I just think he hasn't helped himself with tons of the fights that he's had with fans. I think any time when you, as a fan, as a player, as a manager, are blaming the fans, and having scuffles with the fans over results and over, kind of the, impact of things, I think you've lost the plot, really. Like, fans are not the ones who are picking the team. Fans are not the ones who are picking the transfers. Fans are not the ones who are declaring the transfer budget of any kind, and they're not doing the research, the scouting, any of that stuff. Fans are just there to give their hard-earned cash, their hard-earned money to the football club to try to see them succeed. And they're going to go through the ups and downs and the roller coasters long after you're gone, whether you're a manager, a player, or you're even an owner. So I just think in any situation when you're blaming the fan base, personally, I think you've lost the plot, really, as a person. And so I'll leave it there. Thanks, for making these videos possible for us. The channel predictions, is what I mean. And come on, you Spurs. Thanks a lot, Harry.
You're right, Harry. Thanks for having me on, mate. In terms of recruitment for Tottenham this summer, funnily enough, and obviously you're all going to laugh at me because where we are in the table and what we've been doing this season, but I actually think our first team on paper is only a quality 6 and a quality winger away from taking that next leap to challenging for top 4. The only thing is obviously we've seen this season when we get injuries, the level in our squad depth, the level drops significantly when our crucial core players are out. So we'd have to go and get some competent squad depth as well as those 2 established signings in the winger position and the number 6 position. The only thing is though, Romero is so important to us. I think we're going to lose him in the summer. So then you've got another position that you're going to have to fill. You're going to have to go and replace Romero. I don't think Danso and Vuskovic is enough. I think that's actually quite unfair to put that pressure on Vuskovic. So now you're looking at a centre-back, a number 6 and a winger. And that's going to be an expensive summer. There's a lot of work to do in the summer. And I think whoever comes in, they have to be at the right age to instantly make an impact when they come in. And elevate the squad and pick up these young players that we've got so many unbelievable young players, but they need those players around them to really carry them through this sort of development phase for them, and then hopefully in a couple of years they'll all be ready and we'll have a real prime squad ready to sort of challenge for really important things. But I think they'd have to be around 24, 25 to make that instant impact and also develop and get better and have that sort of potential to sort of achieve whilst they're here at Spurs. So I don't know who that would be. Realistically though, a signing that I think I'd love to see is Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart, German international. I think he's 23, 24. He's a bit of an 8-6 hybrid. He's unbelievable, and the thing that I think our squad lacks is football IQ. I think we've got a lot of athletes, but they don't really understand the sort of the phases of a football game, and their decision making is often quite poor or inconsistent, and we don't have anyone that sort of understands game state and sort of can dictate and sort of orchestrate a football match. We really lack that, and I think Stiller would provide that. And he's press proven, he's competent in his defensive work, and his passing is elite, and I think he's going to reach the top. So I think he's a player that we can't sort of miss, because I think there will be clubs in for him in the summer. The only thing is with Stiller is I think that he's a little bit lightweight, and if obviously that transformation from the Bundesliga to the Premier League physicality, in terms of physicality, it's a massive jump. So I think that we'd have to accompany him with maybe more of an out-and-out 6 or destroyer, maybe a Cardoso. I don't know, sort of like complement him and compensate for his lack of physicality. But I think you see it all the time. Players come in, they maybe have a few months to adjust to the physicality, and then they're good and ready to go. And I think that's what I think that would be the case with Stiller. On Ange then in the summer, I think it's time. I think it's time for Postecoglou to go. I think the fact that we've sacked so many managers is the reason he's still in a job. I don't. There's no inspiration. There's a lack of grit, determination, mentality that we have under Postecoglou. We're so inconsistent. I think the muscle injuries I think he's responsible for quite a few of them. And I do worry. I worry about us becoming so accustomed and used to losing games and it becoming the norm. And I don't think he's at the level required for us to, or where we want to be as a fan base. I think it's frustrating. I don't think I've got another managerial sort of hunt inside of me. I don't think I've got that in me. It's exhausting, and I don't think there's an obvious candidate out there either. But I just don't have any belief in the manager at all. And I mean, I think the players are still playing for him, but I don't think we're getting the results we need. And I think eventually, I mean, we're seeing it now. Romero wants to leave, and I think players will sort of want to opt out if this carries on. So I think it's time for us to get that new manager bounce, and also a manager that isn't going to be stubborn, who's defensively sound as well as attackingly sound, and go from there. I think we just need a restart. I don't know if I got it in me. I don't think the fan base has got it in them, but I just don't think it's working under Postecoglou.
Hi, Craig here from the Spurs Chat podcast, giving my thoughts on the summer window and Ange. What positions do we need to strengthen in over the summer? Probably quite a few, to be honest, still. I think we're well stocked in the goalkeeper department, to be fair. Right back seems okay with Porro and Spence. Centre back obviously depends on what happens with Romero. Obviously, rumours that he wants out. So that could be a position that we need to bring somebody in. Obviously, rumours of Branthwaite us going in for him. That could be a possibility. But obviously, I personally want to hold on to Romero. I think he's a great player. But obviously 2 years left on his contract, so the club are going to have to think about what they do with him, especially if he wants to go and Real Madrid come knocking. But apart from that, Van der Ven, Dragushin, Danzo, I think we're well stocked. But left back, I think, could be an issue. Even though Jed Spence actually is probably a better left back, or had better performances at left back than right back this season when he's played there. So you could argue that he's a good backup for both positions. But personally, I think we do need to strengthen in the left back position. Centre midfield certainly is one of the main areas. I think we need a bit of extra help in there. For me, Bissouma probably time up at Tottenham. We've got Sarr obviously in there and Bentancur. If you take it into account the number 10 position within that section of the playing field, we've got obviously Maddison and Kulusevski. So we're okay in there. Personally, I think we could probably do with strengthening along the forward line, though. Whether it be a winger or winger that can play as a centre forward, certainly I think we definitely need help up there as well. So for me, the main positions would be left back, or somebody that can cover left back and centre back. A big number 6, certainly in centre midfield, and somebody in the attacking third as well. As for marquee or dream gettable summer signings, there's two for me that I would love to see come in, or one at least. And although he's not had the best of seasons this season, I still think there's a player in there, and one I've banged the drum about for ages is a bit Eberechi Eze. I think he would fit in perfectly at Tottenham. I think he's a fantastic player, can play out wide, play through the middle, good passer of the ball. I think he would be brilliant for Tottenham. And the other one, who's gettable as well, I think, is Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. Had a really good season. Again, tricky winger. Rumours that Liverpool are sniffing around, of course, but I think he's going to be gettable, but the club have got to pay the money. And I think it's about time the club actually bought us in some ready-made players, ready-made for now. I'm all for bringing in youth and everything like that and bringing the youth through, but I think you need a good mix, a healthy mix, and I think we've got that wrong this season. We could have done with some now players. Which obviously you could argue we had. Solanke, of course, came in the summer, but still need more for me. Am I Ange in or Ange out? To be honest, I'm on the fence now. Personally, I think his position's probably going to be untenable even if we win the Europa League. I think you'll probably see him go. It's sad that the fan base have turned and, quite rightly, to be honest with you, the results haven't been good enough this season. 15th in the Premier League, it's just not good enough for this club, and everything, all eggs now in the Europa basket. And if we go out of that, then the season's just going to peter out into nothingness again, and we'll all be wishing the season over and looking forward to next season. It's not been great, has it? Let's be honest. Ange, I think, has probably had long enough. Yes, we've had injuries. Yes, there's been loads of different things that have gone wrong this season, but I think that once the fan base turns, there's very little chance of coming back from that, unless, of course, we win the Europa League, in which case could be argued, do you give him or do you let him run his contract into the next year? It's a difficult one, it really is, but I haven't seen improvements in this team this year. We've probably gone backwards, so I think it's probably going to be time in the summer for a new manager to come in and see what they can do. But 100%, the board have got to back this new manager and properly back them, whoever it is. Thanks a lot.
Hope you guys are doing well. My name's Elijah from the channel Too Much of E. Hope you guys are having a great day. Make sure you guys have liked and subscribed to Harry, my guy. He sent me some questions to ask, and I'm gonna ask them real quick. I ain't gonna take up too much of your time, man. So let's get right into this. First question is, what positions do Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? Now, in my opinion, the midfield is the weakest area because that's really what links the attack and defense. A lot of the times that we don't play well, it's because the midfield doesn't come to collect the ball and doesn't really help transition the ball properly. So we need a new midfielder. I've heard the links, I've heard the names being thrown around. None of them really impress me. But at the same time, I don't really see us going out and buying a big player because we just don't have that type of attraction no more. So I think we need to sign some sort of midfielder. I think a right winger especially is crucial because most of our wingers can play on the left. Of course, Odebeck can play on the right, but he prefers to play on the left, and it's one of them ones. In terms of defense, we definitely need another centre-back, especially with Romero planning to leave. We need someone who's a proper centre-back, especially if we don't think it's Dragusin. But definitely need a new centre-back, a new midfielder, and a new right winger. Those are the priorities for me. Who would be your realistic dream signing in the summer and why? Now, this is difficult for me because I don't watch a crazy amount of football outside of Tottenham because Tottenham brings me enough pain and misery. But like I said before, midfield is where I would strengthen first. That's the top priority. Unfortunately, though, I don't know a single player, really. I'm going to be honest. The first name that comes to mind is Timber, Quinton Timber, Urian Timber's brother. He comes to mind first, mainly because he was the only midfielder that really impressed me when I was looking at Ashmatic analysis. You know how Ash breaks it down. I was on a live stream where he broke down Timber and his play. And I know we looked over like Cardozo and a couple other men, but they weren't really looking that good for me. It was really Quinton Timber, so I'd have to steal his answer. Apologies, Ash and Marlon. But in terms of actually signing what we need, Ange's already said we don't play with a 6, 8 or 10. We play with someone who can do all three. I just don't know many players that will come to Tottenham, if I'm being honest, if we need those kind of players, because they're the creme de la creme of midfielders. They're not coming to Spurs. So unless we use the academy and we use the players we already have and mold them into what we need, we're not really going to go sign someone like that. And the final question, Ange in or out and why? Me personally, I am Ange out. I've been Ange out since Tamworth because that display, it doesn't matter that players were injured. We had basically a starting 11 caliber apart from Werner and Mikey Moore, and we still took 100+ minutes to score a goal. And that is just disgusting. I'm not going to lie. I was Ange out after that. The main reason I am Ange out to this day is because I don't believe that his style of play will win trophies or compete consistently. And that's really what I want as a fan, is to compete consistently and to win trophies consistently. I believe that Ange ball can work, but unless you adapt in certain situations and change the way you play, it's not always going to work. So the fact that he has flat out refused to change and has said for years, even before coming to Tottenham, that he refuses to change and he doesn't want to change no matter what, I have to judge him based on the tactics I see, and I don't think it's good enough to win a trophy. So as long as he doesn't adapt, I'm going to continue to be Ange out because we're not going to win playing this style of football, especially long term. But those are the questions. Thank you, Harry, for including this. Shout out to everyone. Make sure you guys have subscribed to Harry yet again. Please subscribe to my boy. And on to the next guy.
What's happening, people? It's your guy Wes here. Big thank you to Harry for asking me to get involved in this particular video. He's obviously asked me to answer a couple of questions. So first one he's asked is, for what positions do Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? I don't think there's actually a lot compared to probably this time last year that we would necessarily need to strengthen. One main area I think for me is probably the priority is a number 6. I'd also potentially like us to get a winger and a left back. I think that would be key, or at least a left-footed defender, so somebody who could cover the left centre back role and maybe left back as well. So I think those would probably be my sort of top 3 areas to look at in terms of recruitment for the summer. Who would be my realistic dream signing in the summer and why? I think for me personally, I would love to see SHOUTOUT from Ajax coming in. Top young defender, probably one of the most sought after in Europe for his age in terms of that under 21 bracket. I think he would help cover multiple positions as well. Left-footed, can play centre back, left back, wing back as well. So SHOUTOUT for me is probably the one name that I would absolutely love us to sign. For the number 6 position, it's got to be for me Adam Wharton. I said ages ago, even I think it was last January, that we should have gone and bought him. We didn't, Palace did, and I think everybody now is starting to see the quality that he possesses on a weekly basis in the Premier League. So I'd probably say those 2 are my ones to want coming into the door at Tottenham in the summer. Am I Ange in or out? Really difficult for me, I think. I would say I'm massively sort of on the fence because there is a part of me that does believe in what Ange is trying to do. I just don't know if he's been supported in the right way to make sure that he can get out what he needs to get out. Having said that, you can't ignore the league form. Losing over half of our Premier League games so far is not acceptable, and it's the sort of manner in which we lose games. Like, we go a goal down and you never feel like there is any hope or expectation of us getting back into a game and potentially turning it around. So I think for me, it's not so much whether I'm Ange in or out. It's just a case of, look, I want him to succeed. I can't personally see it. So I think it's a case of when he gets the sack and not if. But yeah, that's it from me. Take care, guys.
Hey everyone, it's Harry from Hasbro TV here. Doing a video for Harry. So yeah, Harry asked me, first of all, what positions Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? Am I Ange out? I think that'll be a formality, people who know me. And what realistic dream signing I would bring in. First we'll get the formalities out of the way. Ange out all the way. Apart from the 19 losses so far this season, he hasn't given me anything to hope for. Probably the worst manager I've seen in my lifetime. The same tactics every game, which have, as shown just now with the 19 losses, clearly isn't working. He's not made any of the players better than they were. Some may argue Kulusevski, but I just think he's moved him positionally after leaving me out on the right last season. He moved him into the middle where he should have been a long time ago in this system. And he doesn't play with number 6, which is to our detriment, and he inverts the fullbacks, which is to our detriment because the fullbacks we have are way better overlapping. So he plays to the weaknesses of our players rather than the strengths. Let's just summarise it like that. Anyway, so what positions do Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? Right off the bat, we're going to need a centre half because Romero's on his way out. I imagine Greece will probably stay another year, along with Danso and Van der Ven. So the club only might bring one in. Just depends, I guess, what manager we get in the summer, or if Ange stays. Unfortunately, if he stays. And I would argue personally we need a right wing 100%. And I still think personally we need a strong central midfield, like a leader type, because we don't have that in midfield. And we badly need some experience. Just every signing needs to be an established signing, an established player, because we signed youngsters all of last summer, which, yeah, We've seen how that works. And nothing against them personally, it's just not going to develop without any senior players alongside them, you know, with vast experience. That's my dream signing. I think someone like Mbeumo would be good for us. Like I said, ideally you want like a leader type in the middle of the field. But who can we go out there and get really that's like that if we don't have European football next season? It's a good question. But for me, I'm just going to say Mbeumo because we badly need the right winger. He's Premier League proven. He'll come in and I know he'll get like 10 to 15 goals straight off the bat. He gives us way more than Johnson. You know, he won't be one where he'll have need time to settle all that stuff that we really don't need right now. We need players to come in and do it straight away. So for me, Mbeumo dream signing, Ange out 100%, and Spurs need to like strengthen so many areas of the squad. Like I said, for me, centre half is going to be done anyway. We probably need a left back and a right wing 100%. I just don't see the club really doing anything else. Central midfield is my prerogative. So whether the club want to go out and buy a leader because the squad lacks leaders, then please do something about it. But yeah, this Harry has to be and Hasbro out.
Hey Harry, Leader Dorset Spur here. Thanks for inviting me on to give my opinion on a few bits and pieces. So first up was the question, where do I feel we need to strengthen in the summer? To be honest, I think we constantly need to refresh. I think we should constantly be looking for additional players and additional improvements to the squad. I do feel there's an awful lot of positions we probably need to strengthen in, to be honest still. I still feel like we need a centre-back, even though we've brought Kevin Danso in. Obviously he's injured, and we have got cover with Gray, but for me, I still feel it would be great to have some real quality in that position. So for me, centre-back is a key one. Great that Jed Spencer's been so useful at left back. In fact, I think he's probably played better at left back than right back, to be honest. But I still would like to see a proper actual left back as backup for Udogie. He's clearly been the one that Ange has gone with as being the main man for that position. So proper cover for him, which then frees up Spence to be a proper cover for right back for Porro, or they can alternate between the two. For me, to be honest with you, Spence has probably been better than Porro, certainly defensively. Centre back, left back. I definitely feel like we need something in midfield. A couple of positions there, I feel like we need a real proper number 6, but I also feel that we need someone with creativity in terms of James Maddison. When James Maddison's not playing, I'm not sure where the creativity comes from. I know we've got Lewis Bergvall who can play in there, we've got Bentancur in there, Bissouma, but for me I think Bissouma he's not playing well for Spurs. Nothing's working for him there. Maybe he's being played out of position, I'm not sure. But yeah, again, I still feel we need a proper midfield in there. You know, someone who's going to really marshal that midfield area. Now, whether that's going to be Archie Gray in the long term, I don't know. But certainly at the moment, I feel we need someone really decent in there. A decent, really good playmaker would be ideal as well. As I say, Maddison's not playing every game. He can't play every game, I guess. Although if we're only in one competition next season, as in the Premier League and no Europe, then maybe, I don't know. But certainly for the longer term, I feel we really do need someone in there who can kind of pull some magic in the kind of Maddison role. And of course, the other big one for me is still a striker. Richarlison is never going to work. It's not happening. It's a shame because I really like the guy, but I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's going to be strong enough for us. I love Solanke. I think he's been a really good buy, but he can't play every game. He's had 2 injuries this season, so we need someone in that. So for me, just to kind of recap, out-and-out striker. Someone in midfield as a playmaker, someone defensively as a number 6, a left back and a centre back. There's a big old shopping list for sure, and I know it can't all be done over one window, but certainly those are the positions that I'd be interested to see us kind of improving. Dream signings, to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of saying, I love this player more than that player and all the rest of it. I tend to focus more of my attention just on the players that play for us, and who's good and who's not playing well. I'm not a real fanboy of other players, but the one thing I would say is that I would have loved to have seen and would love to see happen one day is for Harry Kane to come back to Spurs. I feel that we're really missing his goals and his contribution from defensively through midfield and up as an out-and-out striker and playmaker as well. He did everything, so for me he kind of fits pretty much everything that I've just said in terms of where you need cover, because I felt that he did so much and he's so underrated. So I would love to see him come back, get your medals, get your Champions League at Bayern, get your Bundesliga title at Bayern, come back and help make Tottenham great again. That's what I would love to see. But in terms of other players, Eze, I think would be a great player to bring in. Mark Gay, I think, would be another one that I'd really like to see, that we've kind of been linked with. But yeah, so that would kind of be where I'm at with that, to be honest. Final question was, am I Ange in or Ange out? I've always been an advocate of trying to stick with your man, trying to give Ange time to really gel and do something special. We're two seasons in. Is that too early to say a rebuild should be done by now? Is my impatience for the lack of trophies kind of blinding me as to what I really want? I'm not sure. I'm just at the point where 15 defeats in the Premier League is just not good enough. Yeah, we did better in the Carabao Cup, but went out on a whimper. FA Cup we got absolutely knocked and smashed out of that. So really disappointed, within that week. Europa's our last chance. If we were in the Europa, I think it buys him another season to see whether he can build on that. If he doesn't win the Europa, then I think he's gone at the end of the season, regardless of what my position is. But I'm kind of at the point where I think maybe time's up. I'm not sure he's the man to turn it around. But then who else is there? I'm just not sure. But anyway, that's my update. I hope that's okay. Please all subscribe to Harry's channel. I know he works really hard to bring content. Be good to see him getting up there and getting the recognition he deserves. But thanks for watching. Up the Spurs.
Yo, what's happening, people? It's Luke here from Spotlight on Spurs. Big shout out to Harry for asking me to come on and give my answers to the following 3 questions. So the first one is, what positions do Spurs need to strengthen in the summer? I still feel like this squad needs quite a lot. To be honest, I feel like we are lacking in the fullback areas. I think that we probably need another centre half, being that Romero's been strongly linked with a move away today to Atletico Madrid. So looking at 2 defenders, yeah, we've been really struggling in midfield, so I feel like we need to get a midfielder in. I understand that Ange doesn't really operate with what we would call a traditional 6, but we definitely need a midfielder that can operate on a slightly defensive side of the game. We're far too open at this moment in time. You could argue again, there's been reports about Bentancur, Basuma looks to be off, so you could even argue that we probably need 2 midfielders. I still think we're short of a right-sided forward or a right winger predominantly, but then also I feel like we need a little bit of cover across the attacking positions. So again, quite a lot really. I feel like we need to improve quite a bit. The second question is, who would be your realistic dream signing in the summer? So there are quite a few players that I feel like we should be targeting. As I've mentioned earlier, the Eredivisie for me has got quite a few players in it that could become quite an attractive proposition for Spurs. You've got Ato, who is like a left back, can play centre back. You've got Timber. You've got Verman. Anguissa is also a free agent who could be coming in from Napoli. Used to play for Fulham. Brings a little bit of steel to the midfield. And then also Bakayoko. I'd really like a Bumo. I I think he would be a really, really good signing for Spurs. However, I'm going to go with one that some may say is not realistic, but it would definitely be a dream, and I don't think it is beyond the realms of possibility. Probably a little bit of a dreamer here, but signing for the summer would be Harry Kane if Bayern go and win the Champions League and they win the German League, because I feel like he would want to come back and get that golden boot. I feel like he wants to take home the all-time top scorer in the Premier League. So let's dream big. We've had a pretty miserable season, and I'm going to dream big with that. What a lift that would bring Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And the last but not least question is the Ange in, Ange out, and why. So anyone that's seen any of my videos or any of me on other channels will know that I'm still sticking with Ange at this moment in time. It is proving difficult, more so either every week, but I'm still Ange in. I feel like we've got a lot of problems at this football club. I feel like the recruitment's been pretty poor in a lot of aspects. I feel like we don't have enough experience in this squad. We're letting experienced players go. We didn't bring in any more experience. We've potentially even, again, letting Romero, Bentancur and Basuma go. And it looks like our number one target at the moment is another 19-year-old in Tyler Diblin. So I feel like he's been massively let down there. The medical team have had 3 players come out and praise outside help, which again is a big issue for this football club in terms of keeping players fit. And I feel like we're not going to be a club that can go on and win league titles under this regime and the way that we operate. So for me, it's about winning the odd cup as a form of success, and with Ange getting us to a semi-final in the League Cup, with us being in the quarterfinals of a European tournament for the first time since the Champions League. I feel like he's as good a man as any at this moment in time. The other managers that have been linked with us recently, for me, have glaring errors or issues in either style of play, management, what they've done previously, if they don't bring on youth like we need, for instance. So yeah, at this moment in time, albeit there does need to be an upturn in performances and results, I would be sticking with Ange for this moment in time. Really appreciate the chance to come on. As I said, thank you very much, Harry. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video.
Hello, this is David Harris, Davo from Grumpy Old Spurs, UK time, 7 PM, Tuesday night on the Lads It's Tottenham channel. So the 3 questions I've been asked to answer. Positions that we need to strengthen in the summer. Where do I start? We need a number 6. We need another striker. We need to replace Johnson. We need a left back. We need a left-footed centre back. So that's about 5 positions I would strengthen in the summer. A lot of work. As always, a big summer for the ENIC project, as we well know. Who would be my dream signing? I want a number 6. I want a number 6 who is a leader, who is a bit of a bastard, who is going to be showing all the leadership qualities that we are so lacking in this. That's my profile. He's a number 6 who will have Archie Gray as his understudy as a number 6, and Archie Gray can play right back as well. That's what I reckon. Now, who is that person? That's my profile. I mean, Adam Wharton would be lovely. It would be lovely if we did a double raid of Crystal Palace this summer. We brought in the centre-back, whose name I've forgotten, and also Adam Wharton. It is early in the morning, and I am old, and I'm grumpy, and that's why I can't remember his centre-back name. Sorry about that. And then the other question is, Ange in or out? Now, I've got a conflict. I'm sitting here talking to you from the CBD of Sydney, Australia. I have loved the fact that the country that is my place where I live, which has given me opportunities, has the first Australian Premier League coach at my beloved club, which is in my blood. But the thing is that unfortunately he will not be there at the start of next season. I think that he has been found to be tactically lacking. I get all the injuries, but he should have rotated better with his Europa squad than he did. He could have used Reguilon a bit more. He could have used Jed Spence a lot earlier, and he could have done more rotation. So I'm afraid to say it is Ange out. So Harry, hope that's all right for you, and come on you Spurs.
Hi Harry, and thanks for inviting me to contribute to the discussions about summer strengthening at Tottenham Hotspur. It's fair to say we've had a very roller coaster season this season. And as the summer transfer window approaches, there are areas that need reinforcement to ensure the team competes at the highest level and at the right end of the table. Firstly, the defensive line requires urgent attention. Central defence has been inconsistent with injuries and a lack of form affecting performances. A commanding centre-back with leadership qualities is essential if, as rumoured, Christian Romero departs for pastures new. Someone who can stabilise the back line, pass through the lines as Romero does, and offer reliability week in and week out. Secondly, the left-back position is another area where I feel Spurs need to invest. While there have been flashes of brilliance, consistency and defensive sturdiness are lacking, Destiny Udogie has not hit the heights of his first season. In part, I feel, as he missed all of pre-season, recovering from the surgery that brought his last season to a premature close. Bringing in a left-back who can balance defensive duties with attacking support, as Ange Postecoglou requires, will be crucial. Thirdly, and probably most importantly, an imposing defensive midfielder is needed to bridge the gap between defence and attack when possession is lost. We currently have a number of options at 8 and 10, but not a dedicated defensive midfielder or the wonderful 6, as it's often known. Lastly, depth in the forward line is essential, but we would need to certainly address the back of the team rather more than the front of the team, in my view. So who would be a realistic dream signing in the summer and why? When I think about a realistic dream signing, one name comes to mind, and that's Ederson. No, not the goalkeeper at Man City. Ederson, the defensive midfielder, the Brazilian international at Atalanta in Italy. Exceptional talent, good with tackling, interception, and great at covering the ground. Ederson would fit into Spurs' system seamlessly. His ability to operate as the number 6, providing cover, would add a new dimension to Tottenham's attacking play. He's also capable of playing deeper in the field, offering flexibility and defensive coverages in all sorts of tactical formations. So I think Ederson will not only strengthen the midfield, but also improve Spurs in transition. His enthusiasm and flair would inject new energy into the squad, potentially transforming Spurs into genuine contenders for top honours. And lastly, you asked me about Ange in or out. The discussion surrounding the future of Ange Postecoglou as Spurs manager is complex. He's brought a fresh approach and new ideas that have certainly impacted the team. However, in evaluating his tenure and weighing the pros and cons, on the positive side, Ange's philosophy emphasises attacking football and possession play, which is part of our heritage, and has led to some exhilarating performances. His man management skills have also helped in nurturing the young talent and maintaining squad harmony. There have, however, been challenges. The consistency in results, the record number of losses we seem to be heading to, as I record this, and struggles against top-tier teams have raised questions about whether his strategies are effective long-term. The defence has been particularly vulnerable, exposing tactical flaws. Given these factors, a nuanced approach is necessary. Instead of a straightforward in or out, perhaps the focus should be on supporting Ange with the right transfers and allowing time to implement his ideas fully. Stability often leads to success, and if Ange can adapt and strengthen key areas, he could lead Spurs to new heights. I'm sick and tired of Spurs being 18 months FC. In conclusion, Tottenham Hotspur faces a crucial summer, strengthening the defence, midfield, forward line, coupled with some strategic signings, could propel the team forward. As for Ange Postecoglou, giving him the times and tools to succeed may provide beneficial in the long run. Thanks for allowing me to join the discussion and keep our fingers crossed for an exciting summer. Come on, you Spurs.
Hi, Harry. So what positions do Spurs need? Personally, I'm sure this has been repeated everywhere. We need a 6. Desperately need a 6. For me, we need another creative midfielder. Desperately need another creative. Can't be relying on James Maddison, Mr. 33%. 33% playing, 33% injured and 33% coming back from injury. So, no, we desperately need someone to be challenging. Need to challenges in all positions. The 6 goes without saying. What other position? Depending if we get rid of Richarlison, then obviously we would need another striker, and I think we need a left-sided centre back. Don't think we need another winger. We've got more wingers than Nando's, so no, that would be it for that. And so who would I go for? It's a tricky one. Yao Gomez. I'd like to do the double, Yao Gomez and Mateus Cunha. For me, Cunha is all Spurs. I mean, it's exactly what Spurs is about. Creative, can play as a centre forward, out on the wing, as a 10. In fact, he hasn't scored that many goals playing up front on his own, but as a creative, dropping deep and creating stuff, it's like a fantastic player. A pleasure to watch. And he's going to be part of Brazil's team, you know, for many years to come, I should say. Quite like David Hanko, a left-sided centre-back up at Feyenoord. Love to see Hincapié, obviously, that flexibility, playing, you know, left-back and left centre-back. Who else? Well, listen, I no disrespect to Dom Solanke, but I would have gone for the hat-trick of Swedish players and would have bought Victor Gyökeres. I think it was a huge mistake by us not to go for him. He's got much more to his game than Solanke. Yeah, Solanke works hard, as I said, not slagging Solanke. I'm just saying, much younger, still improving, and in my opinion, a better player all round. To have the three Swedes, Kulu, Bergvall and Gyökeres would have been marriage made in heaven. We ain't going to get Kolo Muani, who I would have really liked. Who else? Jonathan David is on a free. I really like to see him come to the club, but there's going to be stiff competition. And Angel Gomez would probably be where Daniel would go. As for young ones, Aidan Hackney, Adam Walton's not going to come. And we ain't paying 100 million for Tyler Dibbling. You know, let's let our academy kids, the top academy kids, have room to come through. Am I Ange in or Ange out? I think if you know me by now, you'll know I'm Ange out. I have been since February 2024, when I realised that it wasn't injuries, it was his tactical nous. I don't blame Ange, blame Levy. 4 months searching for a manager, and Scott Munn, who knows bugger all about football, and coming up with Ange Postecoglou, who wouldn't take the job. But let's be honest, since November the 5th, 2023, we've had 35 wins, defeats. I wish we had 35 wins, 35 defeats, and that's just not acceptable. I'm sorry, and I'm out. But listen, if he goes on and wins the Europa League, then, you know, I will stand in and I will apologise quite happily that I got it wrong on that respect. But always remember Ten Hag, okay? Won the FA Cup, gave him all that money to spend in the summer, and then by November, it was a shit show. So, no, whatever happens, he's got to go, in my opinion. Shake your hand. Thank you very much. And let's move on. Come on, you Spurs.
Hi everybody, and here from Spurs Diehards, Harry, filling this interminably long international break, has asked us to answer 3 questions. What positions do we need to fill in the summer? 2, a realistic big signing target or targets, and Ange in or out or why. I'm going to take the last question first, because I think whatever we do is going to depend upon who the coach is. I'll declare, for those that don't know, I live in Glasgow. I follow Celtic up north, and I was over the moon when Ange was appointed. But to say I'm disappointed, particularly in this season, in the way the results have gone, and the, I think, inability, we talk about Ange ball, but the Ange ball that supposedly we're playing is nothing compared to the dynamic, fast, free-flowing, attacking football that we saw at Celtic. And yeah, I hear the arguments that we've got, it's a different league, better coaches and what have you. But a style of play is a style of play, and Ange has simply not been able to replicate it often enough at Tottenham. The results haven't been good enough. So bottom line is, I don't expect Ange to be here next season unless, and it's a big unless, he wins the Europa League. If he does win the Europa League, it would be utterly churlish to get rid of him. But if results don't improve between now and the end of the season significantly, and he doesn't win the Europa League, I think he's gone. And that brings in, who then comes in, what style of play that we need, etc. But let's look at the squad and where we need to fill gaps. I think with Porro and Spence were okay at right back. Goalkeeper, obviously, we've got goalkeepers coming out of our ears. Central defence, well, a lot's going to depend on Romero. As I'm dictating this story today, that Athletic are very interested in Romero. Romero has made clear he's unhappy at Tottenham for all kinds of reasons, not least the medical treatment. And when he's thanking his home nation's physios at the expense of the domestic ones, then you have to say that time is up unless he signs a new contract, which I don't think he will. So I expect him to leave. That then leaves as well, what do we think of the remaining players? Van de Ven, Danso, Dragusin, then you've got Dorrington coming back, you've got Phillips coming back, Davis still there, perhaps he'll be asked to move on or what. You'd probably have to say though that if he's away, then you're looking for a top quality centre half to replace him. There was talk we were after Gui from Palace in the summer. That would be, in the winter, and that obviously would be the kind of star signing I think we need to make if we're going to let Romero go. Similarly, Houston at Bournemouth, but I gather there's going to be massive competition for his signature as well in the summer. The other aspect, of course, you've got to take into account then is who the owners might be. Because if we do get this investment, and I'm not confident that Levy would accept a realistic price for the club, then it'll be same old. Midfield, I still think we need that six, and I think that's been one of Ange's weaknesses. I still think we need a high quality holding player to free up the likes of particularly Bergvall going forward, Madison, maybe Bentancur will play further forward and do what he does best for Uruguay. Archie Gray as well needs, although he may develop into a top-class centre-half in the way that Gary Mabbott did, I still like to see him given a proper go up front. And I still think we need an additional right winger, although, again, Tell may prove to be that player. The one position, though, apart from centre-half that I've identified there, the six that I've identified, there's two more. We need another left-back, a top-quality left-back, to come in and not only compete but possibly replace Udogie as first choice. And, of course, Solanke. Solanke needs significant help up front. It's actually been unfair what he's been asked to do. There is still a massive amount of work. I think, again, it's going to be a transitional summer. A lot's going to depend on the coach, what he thinks of the current squad. We had a good clear out 2 years ago. We may need another one again. It's same old, I'm afraid. Wash, rinse, repeat. 18-month FC. I can't be more positive. I wish I was. I'm a glass half full guy. But who knows? Maybe we'll win the Europa and I'll be in the summer, and Ange will be there signing the top players, and we're making a serious attempt on the league next year. Chance would be a fine thing. Thanks, Harry.